Well, let's get a different view on the election from the BBC's Generation 2015. That's a panel of young voters, and one of them is very angry about one particular party that's standing here and in two other seats in the East Midlands.
Sarah Honeycombe's part of a new generation, an online PA and a politics graduate. She's taking a keen interest in the election, and there's one party that's only standing here in the East Midlands that she's not happy with. Justice for Men and Boys is an anti-feminist party targeting three marginals here, including Broxtowe. So what happens when a feminist meets the anti-feminist party? Well, first up, it's equality in the workplace.
They're less likely to get paid an equal wage to men. They're less likely to get employed. Well, academic evidence...
Academic evidence does not show that, Sarah. Well, what academic evidence shows is that there's a very small gender pay gap between the ages of 20 and 30, and it's in favour of women. The idea that women are an oppressed class is insane.
So how do you explain the gender pay gap?
It's very simple. Men and women go into different lines of work. Women typically go into lines of work that fit in with their other duties, that fit around holidays and so on.
What would you I just wanted to ask, you mentioned women's other duties. I meant when I said what you consider those duties to be?
Well, I mean, perhaps duties was the wrong word, but I mean, caring for children, normal women like to care for children. At the end of the day, men and women are different. And this whole feminist, fantasy that men and women are somehow interchangeable is just nonsense, and it's leading to ruin in just so many areas of society. Men will support women as stay-at-home partners or parents, and women won't.
Well, I do know people who are supporting their male partners who are looking after the children. Those people do exist. And surely
but they're rare.
Surely the point of equality is that it can never go too far. By definition, equality can only go to 50-50. And if we get more women involved in the workplace and working those kind of hours, then men would be able to have the option to stay at home with children.
Well, can we just stay with that moment? A major driver of male suicide, but not female suicide, is unemployment. But more men than women are unemployed, and yet every government initiative that I know of to encourage people into lines of work are encouraging women.
The problem with a lot of women getting women back into work is A, they're looking for a part-time job, which means they're not covered by the figures that you're looking for, and B, those jobs don't exist as much, which is why we're putting funding into them. So the statistics that you're using to present your argument are somewhat disingenuous.
Sarah's undecided on who to vote for at the moment, but it looks unlikely Justice for Men and Boys will be winning her vote.
Sarah Honeycombe there from the BBC's Generation 2015, a young woman very interested in politics, but women aged between 18 and 24 are the group that's least likely to vote. So I'd like to know what your parties are going to do about that. Come to you first, David. What are the Greens going to do about this issue?
I think we need to engage as many people as possible, and that includes women and young people in the political process. And I think a lot of women are turned off from the political process because of the conduct that they see in Parliament, and I think that is something that needs to be addressed to engage people more, and also to reduce the voting level to 16 to engage young people, including young women, from an earlier age.
And Stanley, Lib Dems still have a problem with young voters, the students still not happy with tuition fees and the way that all worked out or didn't work out?
But it has worked out, actually. What Nick Clegg wanted to do was to give the younger generation what we had when we went off to university, and we got it totally free.
Well, how are you going to attract more young female voters?
You're changing the subject, if you don't mind me saying so. How we're going to
attract... It is the subject we're trying to talk about.
The Lib Dems are for fairness and equality in everything, irrespective of backgrounds, ethnicity, culture, everything. We want everybody to get the best out of life, and everything that we do is geared to that.
Okay, Nick Palmer?
We can't engage young people by talking to them in slogans. We have to talk to them about the issues that they're actually concerned about. So Labour's policy on guaranteeing jobs after a year of unemployment, Labour's policy of reducing tuition fees, these are things which actually relate to young people.
It's crucial that you get these voters, isn't it?
It is, and I'd like to ask younger voters out there to make a choice, whether it's for Anna or for me or for one of my colleagues. It's very important that you
Well, they will, providing
participate.
they've registered
Can
to
I
vote.
say that there is a way of doing that? Because I was sent an email yesterday, an email link to a website called DMob, which is de-mob.com, and it's a non-political site, and it sets out all the political arguments.
Yes, okay.
I would recommend
they can see it
people
on the
go to
BBC
that.
website as well. And finally to you, Anna,
Well,
what would
I mean,
you do to attract female young
I've got a
voters?
23 and a 24-year-old daughters.
Are they interested in politics?
Well, one is, the other one's a bit ambivalent. But I think that the point that David makes about the conduct, I mean, personally, I think that a lot of women, whatever their age, don't like too much of the personality side of politics. We need more women to be standing as candidates. And I think the other thing, if there was one thing I would do for looking at young issues, it would be to look at mental health in particular.
Okay.
And especially some of those issues about
All right, well, we'll have
body
to
image,
leave that
anorexia.
there.